Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on modernizing legacy data with Databricks. My name is Mohammad Junaid Shabir, and I'm Solution Architect here at Royal Cyber. I will be your host for today's session. Joining me is my colleague Moaz Ahmed, Principal Data Engineer, who will be co-presenting and also leading the live demo later in this session. We are really excited can overcome legacy data challenge and move towards a modern, unified, and AI-ready data platform using Databricks. Over the next hour, we will walk you through the key problems with legacy system, explore how Databricks simplifies our data modernization, and share our migration framework along with the live demo to show this in action. By the end of this session, you will have a clear understanding of how to transform your existing data infrastructure into scalable, intelligent, and future-ready platform. Let's get started with a quick overview of today's presentation, followed by an introduction to Royal Cyber, what we do. Royal Cyber, so this is an overview of our presentation. We will walk you through about us, then followed by a problem statement, and then a unified and data and AI platform. A live demo will be conducted by Moss, my co-partner. Then a brief introduction about Databricks architecture and how the migration framework actually works. And then we will also discuss the implementation guide. And then at the end, we will have a QA and summary session as well. So, talking about the Royal Cyber. So, Royal Cyber is a global IT consulting and digital transformation company with over 20 years of experience. We specialize in providing services, solutions, and software that help enterprise to modernize their and innovate in terms of the business. With the team of 2,000 plus employees globally, we have 500 plus certified consultants. Uh, we operate in more than 10 plus offices across 5 continents and serving 600 plus clients worldwide. Our presence spans countries including USA, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, India, South Africa, and UK. And Royal Cyber is recognized for excellence with multiple industry certification and awards, and we are proud partners with leading technology companies like Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, Salesforce, Oracle, and SAP. Let me take you to the quick journey into the world of traditional enterprise systems, a world that many organizations are still living in today. So imagine a company that has been around for decades. Over the year, they have built a patchwork of legacy systems. Uh, each one is designed to solve specific problems for a specific time for the specific department. Let's say these systems do not always talk to each other well, so it's likely to solve a puzzle where some of the pieces just don't fit, resulting in a fragmented legacy system, and that makes it hard to compete to get a complete picture. Now suppose this company wants to report or analyze its data. They rely on something called ETL, like extract, transform, load. But this process is brittle. So one small change, can break the whole pipelines, and it's a bit like a bridge, which collapse every time when there is a strong wind and something like it. So this brittleness slows everything down and makes adopting to new business needs it's really a challenge. Because of this, insights they get, they are always a bit stale. Data is processed in batches, maybe overnight or even weekly. By this time, information reaches to the decision makers. It's already out of date, out of date. So imagine trying to steer a ship by looking at the yesterday's weather forecast. So this does not make any sense. So that's why organizations are lagging behind because of those legacy systems. So and when companies want to do something more advanced, like adopting AI and machine learning, so they don't have the data that is readily available in that format to adopt to new technologies. So if you're trying, it's just like that if you're trying to power a rocket with coal instead of a fuel. So this is how the legacy systems, and we have those all problems. And let's not forget about about the costing. So maintaining these old systems requires a lot of resources, people, money, a lot of different things. So the company spends so much on just keeping the lights on their little left for innovation, and this is resulting in a huge costing and bottlenecks for the companies to move forward. So that's why they need to move to the cloud native technologies to adopt according to the business needs, according to the new way of work, which is the data intelligence frameworks and all that stuff. Okay. So with these, you lack of real time, visibility is also the problem. So when you don't have the right data at the right time, and the business does not have the real time visibility of the data, and they are spending too much time, so though they will lag behind in a ways that they cannot compete to the market, to make some bold decisions, to adopt quickly, to be aware of the threats and all those things, because they don't have the real time availability and insights. So this is how the legacy systems have the bottlenecks, and that I have discussed. And moving forward, so let's discuss the ERP integration challenges that organizations are facing. Let's imagine you have a company and they have decided to modernize its operations by integrating a new ERP system. At first, it seems a great step ahead, but soon they find themselves tangled in a web of unexpected challenges. So these are the challenges that we will discuss. So let's say the complexity of ERP systems and the legacy systems already in place. These old systems weren't designed, to integrate, very well with different technologies, and trying to connect everything can feel fitting together pieces from different puzzles. So the integration is one of the key challenges. The second thing is time management. So time management quickly becomes an issue. Employees are juggling with the regular responsibilities while also learning and adapting to the system. Deadline starts slipping, and projects are no longer takes longer than expected. So this is one of the key issues in ERP challenges. uh, then there's resistance, to people are always reluctant to adopt the changes, and this is one of the key factors in integration, ERP integration challenges. So people don't want to adopt to the changes, especially when they are comfortable with the old way of work and doing the things. They resist, and when their resistance can slow down the integration and create friction within the teams. Imagine an organization that runs its business on the same legacy system for years. Over time, the cracks, they are showing up. Costs are rising. Flexibility is limited. Innovation is very stiff. You cannot innovate things. The company then realizes to migrate from legacy system to the modern intelligent platforms. So the first thing they notice, after all those challenges, ERP challenges, and the inadequate testings and security issues. So it's time for companies to look forward and to move to toward trying to fulfill the gaps that they have. The first thing company notice is the cost efficiency of the new approach. Instead of wasting heavy upfront costing in the on-premise systems and all that stuff, they want to pay as they want to follow the pay as you go model of using the resources they have. This optimization drastically reduce their total cost of ownership. Governance and security becomes another issue. It's very difficult to manage all those stuff, and because these things are easily available in the cloud native platforms like Databricks and the other vendors. So it's very easy to govern and apply security challenges and all that stuff over there. Scalability and performance are no longer concerns when cloud native platforms are there, because you can scale up and down, you can scale horizontally as well by applying different adding different nodes to the clusters. Let's suppose if you're in the database clusters, and you will also vertically enhance, scale up all your resources if you need more resources. But in traditional systems, if you want to enhance your resources, it's very difficult for you at that time to add the hardware at, at at the time when it's needed. So that's why cloud native things are leading up from the very in a great speed. And also while doing ERP integration, so wrong integration partners, choosing the wrong integration partner, that can also lead towards the business downfall. So this is where you need to be very sure while doing the ERP integration with different vendors. And because integration with the wrong people at the wrong time can lead you towards the different problems and the bottlenecks, and that can eventually halt your business. So these are the integration ERP integration challenges that one people are facing. And how to integrate those things, how to do all those things, it's to migrate from legacy to the intelligent systems. Okay, now let's start with uh, with the cost efficiency. So when moving from legacy to intelligence, cost efficiency, pay as you go model is it's the best model in the cloud native. It's a cloud native term. Pay as you go. The You are only billable for those things that you are using, and you are only paying for the things that you are consuming. And this can reduce the huge amount of cost that you have. So, migrating from legacy to intelligence platform transform the organizations, making it more cost effective, secure, scalable, flexible, and future ready thing. So, governance and security is no longer an issue in the cloud native technologies, because it's being governed by different like if you talk about Microsoft Purview is there to handle the governance, to handle the security. Role based access controls are there. Same goes for the Databricks as well. So you can use Unity Catalog to apply whole of your governance and security related stuff inside it. Then flexibility and agility, so that's the very key thing. Rapid adoption to new use cases and diverse data sources, so it's very important. And it's very easy in intelligence platforms as compared to the legacy systems, where they are not flexible enough, and they're not agile enough to handle and innovate accordingly. So this is the one of the key features. The other thing is advanced analytics and AI. This is the real time insight. You can have predictive models, AI capabilities. So all of those things can help you to leverage and to expand your business. Finally, the migration embraces open standards. So open standards mean you have open formats. You can work in Parquet format, Iceberg, different file formattings are available. No vendor lock-in, because if you talk about Teradata is well known in the market as a data warehousing solution. But because of those vendor lock-in things, it's very difficult for different sources to integrate with Teradata because of its compatibility of its data types and all that sort of stuff. So these are the things that can help you while migrating from legacy to the intelligent system. And if we talk about regional ERP ecosystems, we have a lot of ecosystems available in KSA market, like SAP is there, Oracle is there, Teradata is a huge vendor out there, Microsoft Dynamics, SQL Server is there. And there are a lot of different challenges that are available. How Databricks help with these challenges? So Databricks act as a powerful unified platform that can smooth the ERP integration journey. It provides robust data pipelines that can extract, transform, and load data from different legacy systems, seamlessly addressing data compatibility issues. Automation and scalable infrastructure reduce time management problems and implementation costs. Databricks also support, the strong security and governance, ensuring that data moves and the system integrate. Everything remains secure and compliant. And finally, Databricks, provides advanced analytics and machine learning capabilities. That makes him way more head than the other ERP system that exists and in the market. As if you talk about Teradata, we talk about SQL Server. They don't have those kind of capabilities that Databricks brings inside it with all of its, under one umbrella. You can ingest you can use its ingestion platform. You can use AI capabilities. You can use machine learning capabilities. So different aspects that are there. So Moz will surely discuss about all those things later. And let's talk about a small use case that I really wanted to share with you guys regarding the Teradata. So let's suppose a company relies on Teradata for its data warehousing, but as the data grows, the need of more data, so the cost and complexity will increase. Upgrades are very expensive and disruptive because I worked with Teradata for a very long, and I know how expensive that solution is. And the company feels trapped by the vendor lock-in. I just told you about the vendor lock-in data types and compatibility with other sources. So it makes it very hard. So how Databricks can help? That's a good. By migrating to Databricks, the organization gets a flexible, scalable, and a cloud-based platforms. Cost drops, upgrades happen, automatically, and because there are no vendor logged in things, and innovation moves at a very speedy way and as required. So then this is the best and the new thing, new way of work. And I'm handing over to you, Moz. So the floor is all yours. Explain about the rest of the live demonstration and the Databricks capabilities. Thank you.
Great. So thank you, Janet, for that wonderful description. So hi everyone, my name is Moaz Ahmed and I am a principal data engineer at Royal Cyber. I've been a part of the Databricks and the Databricks environment for the past 5 to 6 years, and I've seen the platform grow and evolve to the kind of beast that it has become. So what's the one thing which I would say highlights the significance of Databricks specifically in the modern data world? And that is one platform for data and AI. Databricks is your leading player in the market that not only handles all of your data capabilities, but also provides the AI capabilities on the runtime on top of it. So imagine yourself like, let's talk about Databricks foundations. So we have Lakeflow, the first, Lakeflow, Mosaic AI, Unity Catalog, and these are principal foundations. Let's have a look at them in a bit detail. So what is the lake house? So lake house is representing your centralized data platform that covers your structured, unstructured, and even semi-structured data in the form of delta formats. It is able to make sure that your data is not decentralized, rather it is stored in a central location where from where it is accessible directly, not only for pipelines and orchestration, not only for analytics, but also for the AI integration, whether it be machine learning use case or an agentic AI use case. The Lakehouse makes sure that your data is readily available for you without any external connection or without any silos that you have. So imagine you have a gold mine, and I believe that the data specifically in the KSA market, it is equivalent to that of a gold mine. So imagine you have a gold mine, but you say that, okay, my gold mine is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but the technology and the tools I have to explore that gold mine and to transform that gold mine into valuable jewelry, they reside out there in maybe Jeddah or Medina. So this is the situation of the current legacy ERPs. Okay, so you have one platform for one thing and the other platform for another thing. So that is where Lakehouse comes in, and it resolves the things for you. You have your centralized platform for data and AI, so that you can have everything without any silos. You don't need to rush to multiple platforms. Databricks provides you the comfort and utility to make sure that you have your data and you can perform your AI analysis, both of them at the very same time. So now, once you have the data, the next step is usually is, once you have a data solution built, the next thing you do is, you look for an orchestration tool, maybe ADF or some other orchestration tool, so that you can create a pipelines. You won't need to run notebooks or stuff. So Databricks Lakeflow capability manages your pipelines. You can create customized, robust, and compute like pipelines based on different compute and power specifically within Databricks. You can connect them with any external source you would like, and you won't need to have the need for an additional orchestration tool to manage your pipelines. So, okay, your data is covered, your pipelines are covered. What's next? is the AI integration. All of the AI integration within the database is covered by Mosaic AI. Mosaic AI gives you the capabilities to make runtime integration, AI integrations on your data. We should have a look at those in details. The enhancing of your analytics, specifically with using AI on the runtime, is something that is something that the legacy ERPs are incapable of doing. Most of them are at least incapable of doing. Okay, you can query data, you can maybe get the data results in a tabular format, but having runtime AI readily available analytics available onto them, I'm sorry, your legacy ERPs don't represent that. So Mosaic AI covers all the AI capabilities that are offered to you, and most of them are even low code or even no code solutions that can help even that can help the stakeholders make their decisions on a much efficient in a much more efficient and a faster manner. And finally, okay, AIR is covered. What about the governance? What about the master control? If we have to give, the role-based accesses with the security, or if I want to encrypt the data, apply column masking or row filtering to any sort of table, what then? The Databricks provides us with the capability of Unity Catalog. So Unity Catalog completes the gives you the complete master control for your governance of entire lake house. You can give access to any type of individual you would like, or you can restrict them from any type of data. So let's suppose, imagine in a case where I have a data that is that is a part of multiple tables, and I want the marketing team to have access to data, but just for the representation of marketing, I would like them to have the access for customer emails and customer names, and I want to mask out the rest of the data. So Unity Catalog provides you with the capability that, okay, within your database at a certain table, you can give the marketing team the relevant sort of access. So entire access management system for your entire organization, that can be handled by Unity Catalog. So moving on, this is how the general database complete architecture looks like. So we have divided the us database solution into two parts. The migration comes first, and then the AI ingestion comes second. So what happens generally in a migration? So you have your sources out there that could be your legacy, any of your legacy ERP, the MongoDB, the SQL servers, the Teradata or Oracle, etc. What you do is that you use the only thing which you require to do is you have to bring that data into your cloud storage. The database storage is built upon the ADLS, which is Azure Blob Storage. You need to get that data into your Azure Blob Storage in any format, whether Parquet format, CSV, or Delta format. And from then onwards, Databricks takes over. It reads the data from those external files in the Azure Blob Storage, and then you can create a total medallion architecture over it, which is your three-level architecture comprising of bronze data, silver data, and then gold standard data. So entire thing is happening right now on the platform of Databricks. We shall see that in our demo as well. So this covers the migration part. Now the AI enhancements, what are the things that you can add? So once you have your gold standard tables, you can create rags on it. You can The Databricks provides us with embedding store capabilities so that you can create embeddings. The Databricks has AI models readily available on your serving end. These include the models from ChatGPT, OpenAI, Claude, or the Llama 3 models as well. So you have your embedding stored within the platform of Databricks, and also the Databricks is directly serving your OpenAI or other models, and you can use them to query those embeddings vector store. And in a manner, you don't need any external API integrations or any other additional environments download. The models are there for you, ready to be served, and you can use those models in any manner you like. And finally, Mosaic AI also covers the versioning, the logging, auditing, the metadata handling, and all the security aspects of that using the help of Unity Catalog. So your model is not only stored, but also everything is, at your hand to provide the access to relevant people. But that is something that comes on a later on. And we will have, more sessions on this, explaining the Mosaic AI in a lot more detailed manner. But right now, let's move to the migration. We'll be focusing more on the migration side, and I'll be showing you how Databricks basically opens a window of opportunities for us to explore migration. So I'll be just shifting my screen right now. So right here, this right here is your SQL database. We have created, SQL as a database on the SQL server, and within that you have your retail database. Retail, like referring to it, is basically referring to an e-commerce platform. And what do they actually have? They have access to these tables. What are those tables? We have address data, the customer address data, basically linking the customers with their addresses, and then the individual data of the customers itself, the product category, and the sales order details of the products. So we see that we have a well defined data set that covers the sales of a products and with respect to their customers and the regions the customer are actually present in. So what we can do within the SQL Server, we all know we are all very familiar with it. We see that I can query from this, I can query from address table, and it will give me a table. Okay, that's fine. But what else? What about some graph plotting, or what if I want to add some AI integrations to it, or what if I want to what if I'm a business stakeholder and I want to actually see things on a granular level, or that provide value to my business. That For that we would need some other external tools integrated with our SQL server that would provide the capabilities. And same, not only this is just an example of a SQL server, but with all the rest of the data warehouses or the legacy ERPs that even Teradata that Junaid discussed in details, all of them have these bottlenecks, and the basically lack of having a centralized platform to integrate everything. So that is where the solution Databricks presents itself as the majority solution provider. So what you do is, all you need to do, as I mentioned before, you need to bring that this data right here, this entire database, to your Azure blob storage. And once it is done, then Databricks takes over, and we will actually see on the same level of data with only these tables what type of things that Databricks, what type of capability that Databricks provides us. So this right here, okay, so how are we actually migrating these entire database? We are using Azure Data Factory. So let me show you Azure Data Factory. This right here is my Azure Data Factory. And what it does is that we have created a pipeline that uses a for each loop. And within that for each loop, we have copy data activities. We have copy data activities that are representing the each of the tables that are there in our database, and how we are actually, how is it linked. So if we go to the manage tab, you will see the linked service that we have created on ADF. So we have this source link service. The source link service is actually representing the SQL server, and we have this sync data migration, that is sync link service, that is representing our Azure blob storage. This is the part where this is your destination, and this is where your data goes in. So if we have a look at this, if we have, if we look at the triggers that have been there, you see the SQL ADF migration. It is a schedule type trigger that is, that started and ran successfully. So we have the data that is, coming in on a regular schedule, and it is being fed into, so it runs on 5:35 at Riyadh time, and it basically makes sure that our data gets into our data storage, which is our blob storage. So let's have a look at the blob storage then. So if I go to here, this is my container on the Azure side, and this is my blob storage in here. So if I go to the storage and blob container, and within that, if I go to the this container, and within this container, we have set up a staging folder that ensures that our data comes from. So as you can see right now, all of these files, these represents the actual tables. These are all available in a Parquet format, but Databricks is capable enough to handle any sort of formats, as Junaid discussed. So no data compatibility issues, you won't face them. So, okay, now the data is here on your blob storage. What happens next? Now the Databricks comes in and takes over and does everything for you. So if we go to the workspace of Databricks, this is how the traditional Databricks workspace looks like. You can create notebooks, you can create Python notebooks, SQL notebooks. Databricks has built-in Spark cluster installed in it. So the Spark, you don't need to have an additional session. The Databricks compute provides you with the Spark capabilities as well. And this is your workspace, and this is the catalog basically representing the storage of your database. So what you can store in multiple catalogs and your data, and within these catalogs we shall see and discuss how our data is actually being stored. So right now this is the folder that I'm working on. And first of all, as discussed in the medallion architecture, what do? We have a bronze layer. So we see is I write just these simple commands which shows me the external locations that are connected to my database site. And within these external locations, you see the meta store. This is the meta store that is there. And this one contains the files that we plan to migrate the tables. So all I do is give the folder path, and using the dputils function, database utilities function, I get the list of all the files that are there within our folder. So what we do next, we just read these files and we read them as tables. We provide the format that they are actually in, and all simply with data we use the Spark to read the files. Once the files are read, we then store them as tables in this catalog, in this schema. So as you know, the Databricks follows a three-level hierarchy system. So we have the catalog name first, the schema name for second, and finally the table name. So this is how you see the tables in our bronze layer are stored. And once let's have a look at how these tables are stored. So let me open the catalog out there. I think we can do this from here as well. Yeah. So as you could see, this is my catalog, and in the bronze level, we have these address tables, customer address, customers, all of the tables. You simply read from Spark and you write them. And adding on to that, Spark is not only necessary. You can have SQL queries or Spark SQL queries, and it will still do the job for you within the Databricks platform. So as you can see right here, this is how the bronze layer is set up. Okay, once the bronze layer is set up, what we do next in the medallion architecture, we make necessary aggregations, the dropping of nulls, and that is what we have done. So we are trying to relate our customers data with our their regional and trying to get their regional insights, or trying to get some necessary insights from them that can help us potentially realize, okay, we have this much abundance of customers in this much, in this certain area, and that is how we can actually approach our target market. So we have these silver level tables that are created here. And if I do connect to the serverless compute here, so all we are doing right now is creating aggregations and then storing them on the silver level. So obviously these are the as you can see, these are the customer location stats. The where we are actually grouping the customers by their country, region, and their state, province. But I'm not going to go into the technical details of these aggregations because we are all well acquainted with the type of aggregations. What I'm showing you is actually how simple and easy it is to write a three-level medallion architecture on database. So as you can see, we store all of these tables out here. And once again, when we look at the catalog, this right here, we go here and then we go to the silver schema. And then you see these are the silver level aggregated tables that are there. And these silver level aggregated tables will then be fed into used again in the gold layer architecture. So this right here is, let me get to one of the examples where I am cross joining my product data, which is a silver table, with the customer location, so that I understand what type of product is coming from which type of customer locations. So we get a regional insights data frame and we store it as a gold standard data. Similarly, we have two or three other gold standard tables that are created, and you can use the UI of database directly to display any. You see the display command displays all of the gold standard data, and you can add on the runtime, you can add any sort of filters to these tables. You can add them, you can add do a lot of things. You can you use the basically you can pin column, you can copy column names, or you can have a look at this data type. Okay, so this is string, this is string, and so on and so forth. So these are the general level capabilities that Databricks provides us. But we are okay, but these you would say, okay, these things, I could see the data right there in the SQL server as well, right? So what's the difference? The difference lies in here in the catalog level. So as we mentioned, the Unity catalog covers the entire governance and security for your data. But that not only does that, so let's have a look at this regional insights table. What are we getting? We are getting the overview. Okay, we are getting some sort of sample level data that is here, and we are getting the table details. Now what about the rule based access, right? We have emphasized on the security and the rule based access. So we go to the permissions, we grant the permissions. Let's say I add Junaid. I don't want Junaid to have, I'm sorry Junaid, but you can't access you know my data. So all we need to do is give the account name of Junaid, which is like Muhammad Shabir, and you can give let's suppose Muhammad Umar Amanat, and what type of access I want to give to him. Do I want this my colleague to modify? Absolutely not. So let's suppose I give him the modify regional access, and if I want him to only have read only access, this is where. Or if I want him to have managed level or all level of privileges, I can grant him through here with this low code or no code approach. I didn't need to write any sort of complex queries to handle this. Database provides us these things right at your comfort. Similarly, I can track in the entire level of table history, what type of operations were performed on the table, at what instance they were performed, what cluster was being used, and finally, what type of notebook was being used to handle that. So all of these things, they are, handled by Databricks. And finally, interesting thing about the lineage. So we see the upstream and downstream lineage of the entire tables. What are the what are the processes that push this to a better one, or that downgraded this table. But there's a lineage graph that I want to show you guys. So you see now, this is my table name, regional insights. I can actually see the entire lineage of this. So you see, this is the gold regional insights, and I see where the data is coming from which table was it actually coming from, and it is not only limited to a date and where it is going, right? It is being used in another table, but it is not only limited to a table level. If we click at the columns, you see, I see every individual column, where was it coming from and where did it actually go. So this level of granularity is being offered to us through Databricks Unity catalog. Okay, so the security part, we have now very short. Okay, now our data is secured and everything. What about the AI analytics? As we see right here, we have this AI query function right here. So as I mentioned, Databricks has, so let's suppose if you wanted to make an API call in a general manner, what you would do is you know, get an API endpoint from your LLM. You would give the credentials, setup environment file. You would read the data as your data frame, and then you would give the prompt and stuff. You don't need to worry about that. This AI query function handles everything for you. So as I mentioned, we have sales performance summary table, and we take 100 entries from it. All we need to write is the AI query and give it that model. Where are these models stored? These are serving models that are provided to you by Databricks. You don't need any API or anything of such sort. Databricks gives you that. And what happens later? I ask him provide a detailed summary. This is my prompt, and I ask it to use these columns. Okay, so these are the columns that it is going to use, and these based upon this prompt, I am storing it in a new column, sales summary. So as you can see, now it gets all of these columns that were inherently there, and it on the runtime, it simply gives you the entire sales summary for that respective product in that country region. So this SQL AI, or using the AI prompt directly in SQL, is something that Database, has very strong command on, and Database sells itself because of this. Because I personally, if we go to my legacy ERP or any of the other data warehouses, I personally haven't seen where we can simply write a prompt, give it a model, and it will give us the entire results, and we can store them on the runtime in the table. I can store this in a new table maybe, and I can, where I can, download these files, and okay, I shall know what an AI thinks, agentic AI thinks about it, and what type of summary we can get. So this is something, the AI on the runtime, that I've been emphasizing on, that Databricks provides. So if we look at this, we have serving models that are already available here. We have these serving models that Databricks. So you see Databricks Claude, Databricks GPT, Databricks Llama, Gamma, Meta. All of these models are readily available for you on the runtime, and you can just pin and plug these models and use these models to whatever you like. So, and finally, one more thing. Okay, so we have seen how governance and AI analytics like is happening in the database. But there is one more thing that takes things to beyond an extra level. So as you can see right here, this is a Genie space that I'm going to create. What does a Genie space represents? So I am going to give a few of my tables to it. Let's suppose this. I'm going to give 3 tables. Okay. So it creates a Genie space for me. Let's name it as, analysis space. And what I'm going to ask you is, give me like I'm going to ask any sort of questions to this space, and it is going to give me the answer. So let's suppose I have say give me the states in US by number of customers, top 10. Okay. So what it does is that it thinks on your data on the runtime. You need, in general use cases, what people do is they create separate RAG chatbots for it. They create RAG pipelines, where you feed the data and the pipelines are there. And on the runtime, this Genie workspace does all that for you. And what is even more enhanced, what is even more surprising for us rather, and revolutionary, is that it gives you the code as well. So you have the SQL query just by using I gave it this prompt only, right? And it gave me the SQL query. It ran it, got the results. So you see, California has the like greatest number of customer count, and you see this is Texas, Oregon, Michigan, so on and so forth. Okay, and another thing, it gives you the visualization part as well. So let me modify the prompt a bit. You see, these are all blue, and I don't get very well along with the blue. So I am asking him in a multicolored bar graph. Let's see what happens. So it thinks for a while, and now once again you have your customer count along with their code, and now this is looking much more representable to us. And moreover, you can edit it to your liking. So this right here is a bar graph. I could maybe transform it into a pie graph or a line graph as well. So anything that you desire, this Genius space create, like, visualizes your imagination and turns it into reality. So for the business stakeholders that want immediate insights out of their data, this Databricks Genius space is the one that is their go-to approach, and it has been used continuously by a lot of customers and the Databricks partners to basically not only facilitate their solutions but also streamline their overall analytical insights. So this right here is the Genie space. And finally, just give you a hint, data, if you want to have even more detailed level solutions, Databricks provides you with ML and AI capabilities. You can have create ML forecasting models, classification models, or you can create your custom models on it. So this was the overall idea. This was the overall agenda to actually show you what windows of opportunities that Databricks actually opens for you and for your team. So like we should, so move, like you should definitely scrap your legacy space system and then have a transition to this modernized platform that not only gives you AI capabilities, but everything is at single side on your enhance. So now we are done with the demo. What we can provide to you? How? Okay, so you are working on some legacy ERP, and you want to you approach to us and you ask, okay, I want to do the migration. So what are the things that usually happen in a migration framework? What we do is that we assess your current environment first. Our technical consultants and Royal Cyber will help you identify your business use cases and engage your stakeholders across all of your data teams. we understand your current environment. Okay, this is your current limitations and understandings, and then we proceed your architecture. We obviously document everything, the data models and dependencies, and our technical team analyzes the current query performance and the ETL complexity of your existing infrastructure, and then we review finally the security and compliance, and then we suggest to you target platform. Okay, so we suggest you Databricks. Okay, please, you can have, you can have your solution built and improved on the Databricks side, or maybe you have even your own personal migration target platform that you would like. Okay, maybe some other I want to have, maybe on Fabric or anywhere. So what we do is, okay, we understand your target platform, we create your KPIs for success, and we try to balance your current needs and integrate your future vision. So within this approach, there are three things which we there are three techniques that we can take. We can take a lift and shift, which is like just replicate your existing infrastructure to the database new platform. We can add a full modernization where we add AI capabilities along with migration on the runtime, so that, okay, but this is, a bit of a hectic process. So this right here is where is called full modernization. And finally, we have a hybrid approach. Royal Cyber also provides you a hybrid approach where you first migrate first and then modernize later. So what we do is there is we migrate your existing infrastructure, and after that, okay, once we have migrated, these are the possible AI enhancements and suggestions, whether it be AI agents, machine learning capabilities, and advanced dashboarding skills. Okay, we suggest to you, okay, based on your infrastructure and now successful migration, these are the AI capabilities that Royal Cyber can afford to you. And there are other things that the clients prefer, basically. So there is like migration execution, how will it be executed. There is this ingestion and ETL first. So if you feel like your ETLs, you give more priority to your ETLs, and you want them to be migrated on a priority level, so then we move with ingestion first and ETL first. The dashboarding and the curation layer, that is, deprioritize in that case. But if your dashboards are more important and you want the dashboards to, go live and be there on the runtime, so what we do is we take the BI first approach, where you first migrate the dashboards, and based on that content in the dashboards, we refine the type of ETL that we actually want to migrate. So that is how basically we use a migration strategy, and then we pilot and validate. We give you a proof of concept with small number of tables, and a rather small sample size. We migrate it and we give it to MVP testing. Once that is done, then we can maybe proceed. We okay, with your approval, and our team then proceeds with the full load migration. And finally, there are other things that we usually keep in mind while migrating. And what is this? Incremental implementation. As mentioned before, we implement in small increments, so that any type of debugging can be resolved right at that very point. And finally, once we have everything implemented, we apply the necessary governance and security based on your demands. What type of governance you want to add, we provide that to you. And finally, the performance optimization. Okay, once the migration is set up and the new ETLs are run up and running on the new platform, that is where we add and monitor everything, so that your cost is optimized and you are not having any extra workloads. So that is like the overall summary. Once again, we give you the step one is the proof of concept, and then we proceed with the incremental migration, then add governance, and finally we add the optimization strategies for enhancing your cost monitoring and enhancing your analytics to the best possible and optimized level. So as Royal Cybers, we provide full-time consultancy, advisory, and strategy to you. We have training and enablement programs that we share. We offer any sort of custom migration service. So as mentioned, not only on Databricks, we provide to Fabric, maybe to Snowflake. If you have a priority or a personal preference, we can arrange that for you. And we design the implementation and integration along with your team. And then finally, we provide the managed services as well, where you can ask us to help us in specifically managed services. So this right here was everything from my side, and I would like to thank you all that you have joined this demo. And I hope you learned a lot of things and how database is actually, leading the market, and how we as Royal Cyber can help you migrating your entire existing ERP solutions to the new and improved platforms. So that was pretty much it from my side, and we shall be asking you for your questions. Please stay tuned. Thank you. Okay, so Junaid, I think we have a question. I think it is for you. So the question that I'm reading is like, what type of it says that you have worked with Teradata, and they are promising, on providing even similar sort of AI level dashboarding or AI level integration to it. So like, why what do you think about that? Will it be able to, compete with Databricks or not?
Yes, a very good question. So, Teradata is now known as Vantage on Azure. With the advent of Databricks and all those things over the cloud, so the guys have also planned something on analytics on Azure and AWS as well. But the thing is, the level of artificial intelligence and the level of machine learning capabilities that Databricks have, no one in other market have all those things. I work with Fabric as well. I'm doing a lot of POCs with customers on Fabric as well. So Fabric is still not competing with Databricks as far as the transformations are concerned. Yes, Fabric had its own importance, but as far as Databricks is concerned, the level of AI and Gen AI and Mosaic, as you told us about the capabilities that Databricks have. So these are the things that leads Databricks way ahead than the other market players. Teradata is good in data warehousing, but as far as analytics is concerned and all those things are concerned, so Teradata is not up to that mark. Yes, they are trying different ways of work to compete to Databricks and other places like Snowflake and Fabric, but yes, they are still behind all those things, and Databricks is way ahead among all those players.
Okay, great. And there's another question, like how Databricks handles. Okay, that's for me, I guess, how Databricks handles the different type of data formats that are there. So I think the answer to that lies in the format of Delta Lake. Delta Lake is this concept that has been introduced by Databricks, specifically capable of handling not only your semi-structured and unstructured data, but also your structured as well. So Delta Lakes basically, they give what is the edge that they give you? They give you the versatility of a data lake, the diversity of a data lake, but also the asset compliance and the structuralization that a data warehouse usually offers to you. So it basically combines the best of your both worlds. So either you give any sort of like semi-structured JSON, or whether it be a full-fledged structure table, Delta Lake is able to handle it and stores it in the proper format. Delta logs out there, and in that way, it facilitates and helps you through the entire journey. Okay, I don't think there are any more questions, and I think everyone is pretty much satisfied. So I think that is pretty much it from our side. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Junaid, for giving the great description of everything. And we will be continuously having even more sessions, and we'll be hoping to have you guys attend and learn new things about the overall clouds and Azure services, specifically the Databricks side. So signing off. Thank you, Junaid. Anything from your side?
Thank you very much for all the participants that are there for us, and it's a nice session. Hoping and looking forward for more sessions in future. Stay tuned, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day. Sign off. Signing off.
Thank you. Bye.